Hello lovelies, if you clicked on this video, I know that you're either a real fashionista that knows that details really matter. In this case, it's how to tuck your shirt. Or on the other hand, you might just be sick of not ever looking quite right the minute you have to think about tucking your shirt. In either case, I am thrilled to share my ultimate tucking guide with you, full of common mistakes, my go-to tucking techniques for different types of shirts, large array of tucking hacks, as well as a tucking cheat sheet for those days where you just need a quick reference of what to do. Welcome back, and if you're new, I'm Ziba, and I'm so excited that you're here. If you love modern style with timeless taste, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss a video. This is very much a hands-on educational styling video, but if you do see an outfit that you love, I always link everything in the description below where it says click here for links. In a pinned comment on YouTube Shopping, which is a bar full of products that show up kind of when I'm showing them to you, and then also a QR code in case you're watching this on your television. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. The first mistake I see so much is tucking in too much fabric. Many times we think, oh, we have a longer shirt, therefore, where does it go? It goes right into my pants or bottoms. The problem is that that material needs somewhere to go, and it's going to reflect underneath your bottoms for the most part, unless you're wearing a really thick pair of jeans or corduroys. But for the most part, it's not only gonna look a little frumpy, but you'll also be so uncomfortable. It'll create a lot of bulk in the front, in the tummy, in the back. It'll just kind of feel like you're drowning in your shirt, even though you tucked it and you think you're doing the right thing. So, perfect length to tuck a shirt is right around your hip bones, slightly below. Anything longer than that, unless it's a very thin shirt, unlike this kind of like crisper poplin, is going to be too long. Sometimes with a thinner shirt, you can get away with it because the fabric is thinner, and even though it is longer, it doesn't kind of create the same bulk that something like this would. So finding that perfect length of a top is key. So let's say that you do have a shirt like this. This is one of my favorite white button downs. If I'm wearing trousers such as these, what ends up happening is, for the most part, you can see the shirt underneath. And forget white trousers or anything lighter, it shows up even more. So what is there to do? There's a couple little things that you can do. You can either cross it over so that the shirt actually loses some volume and you're able to tuck it into the sides. It creates a little bit of a crossover action in the front, but you do win because that volume has somewhere to go. And then a great way to kind of finish that off is with a belt. There's also a couple of other ways that you can finish off this shirt, but you can still create a visual point for your waist by just lifting up one side and tucking it in. For a shirt like this, instead of tucking it in like this, which is going to end up creating quite a bit of bulk in these kind of like thinner pants. These are by Reformation, and it's such a great fall find. But in any case, this is not ideal. So if you did want to solve for this shirt, you have two options. You can either cross it over like this so that the shirt has somewhere to go. So I just crossed it over. So in this case, I'm finishing off with a belt. There's not that bulk there was before because the shirt kind of took up space going across my waist like this. And it is now secured over here on this other side like this. Very simple to do and great for when you're committed to tucking the shirt. Now, if you're not committed to tucking in your shirt, one of my favorite hacks is to leave the shirt slightly unbuttoned. The last button is right around the waist, and you grab the end that has the buttons, okay? And you pull it through the opening right here like this, and then you bring it through like that. And so you've got kind of an asymmetrical shape. You can still tell where your waist is, but you don't have kind of that conundrum of like, I don't want to twist it or whatever. It's nice and relaxed, looks a little bit more casual, very fashion forward, and I love the way this looks. Mistake number 2 is disregarding your waistband. What's happening at the waist is only going to be highlighted by whatever tuck you do. So if you have paper waist pants that kind of scrunch up, pleated pants, anything that's very busy is going to compete with any tuck that you do, so you can't disregard that. Pleats are another big thing. That's why these pants look so dramatic when I tuck in a longer shirt like this, is because I'm just accentuating the pleats and I'm giving myself tummy bulk that nobody needs, okay? So the best thing to do is, if you have something like flat fronts that's going to be nice and smooth, this is a great type of pants to tuck in. When you have something a little bit busier, then you want to be very mindful of that and choose either a very strategic way to tuck that I'm going to show you in a little bit, or a no tuck top. which I just did a video featuring my 15 favorite no tuck tops that are gonna save you from all of this like decision making. But I'm a big lover of tucking and belting things, so this is why I'm making this video, and I know many of you are as well. But for some days where you just don't feel like tucking, make sure to watch that video after this. The next mistake that's extremely common is making everything into a French tuck, or AKA millennial tuck. What that is when we just grab the middle and then we tuck it right, we just tuck like the edge of the shirt right in the middle and we call it a day. We walk out the door, and we get made fun of a lot for that. Like millennial cusp people like me, Gen X, millennials, very much a thing. However, there's some days where this is the best way to tuck a shirt because it's easy, it looks very effortless, and if it drapes beautifully and it's the right length, and you're tucking it into a mid or a high rise, it's perfection. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says, it's a really great way to do it. However, there's some times where it's not gonna work. If it's a low rise pair of pants, or if it's a very stiff shirt like this, or a very long shirt, or even when you try to tuck a shirt that has like a hemline that is a little different, like a peplum or even some kind of special accent. If you're gonna try to stuff that into a millennial tuck, it's gonna look really weird. Definitely don't do that. This also happens to be one of my favorite ways to tuck a t-shirt. We're moving to the section where I'm gonna show you how to tuck different types of tops. So when we're talking about a t-shirt, there's a couple of ways that I always lean into. Number one is the French tuck right in the center with the perfect length. This is a t-shirt by ATM. I've had it forever. It's indestructible. I love it. It's the perfect length right around my hip bones, and I'm able just to tuck it in the center and have a very intentional styling that just feels very chic and relevant. On the other hand, if you kind of want to do something like that, but don't want to keep it in the front and don't want to do something so predictable, another favorite way to do this is to do a side tuck. This is kind of like the French tuck moved over to the side. You can call it, I don't know, the American tuck. You do the same thing, but right on the side. And the reason that I love doing this with my t-shirts or any top that lends itself to that is because we've seen a huge rise in the trend of asymmetrical tops, right? In any case, this hemline has been very trendy. So you can do this artificially yourself by doing that tuck over on the side. Very easy. Another way that is, again, a variation on a theme is doing the exact same thing, but in the back. And what that does is it kind of draws the attention away from having a very common French tuck that everybody's doing. And you're kind of cheating the system because you're drawing your shirt in the back. And I actually do this one a lot, especially when I want to give myself more of a shape and a waist, but I don't want to fall into that category of doing the French tuck with everything. The back is really great for that. Now with the t-shirt, another fantastic way to do it is to just simply fold the sides of your t-shirt over on one side and just kind of like fold it over, tuck it in, and then do the same thing on the other, fold it in, and this is going to really snatch your waist. It's going to just hold everything together. It's going to kind of provide some tapering, almost like if you had some tailoring on the side of your t-shirt. This is a really great way to do it, especially if you have more languid, flowy trousers and you want to balance out an outfit. It's fantastic for that. And then finally, because we're at it, the hair tie hacks, right? So grabbing your hair tie and putting your shirt into a little twist in the front or two for the sides and rolling it under. It's easy, and you can instantly have a little bit of a faux bubble hemline, which is also really trendy for 2026. Now, if you do want to tuck your t-shirt into thinner bottoms and it's longer and you want to camouflage, then a great hack to use is the scarf hack, where you use the scarf as a belt and it's an asymmetrical line once again, because it camouflages whatever might be happening underneath in terms of bulk or anything showing underneath, like very thin material. It's fantastic. Moving on to tucking hacks for button-down shirts. Now this could be its own video because I think I have possibly 15, 20 different ideas that I've done short form videos for, but I'll share my favorites that I truly use like day in and day out, okay? The first two I've already covered. It was the one where I used that one side and waist my look by kind of slipping it in and then through so that you can see one side of my waist. That's one. The second one was the one where we twist it over and then we tuck it and belt it. This is great. I can't stress it enough. If you have lighter colored trousers or bottoms, very thin trousers, very long shirts, or colored shirts with a white bottom that's gonna just pop the color through, this will solve that problem like this. Another hack that I use really often, especially in the spring, summer months, are when you tie your shirt in the front, but you do an extra loop. And what this looks like is grabbing one end, pulling it through the opening, and then the other end, pulling it into the same opening. Okay, so everything's going in through that same opening, like this, that, and then at the very end, give it another little twist, like that. This is a hack that I use very often. I think I've showed it here on numerous shirts and B-roll before, so you've probably seen this. It's just one that's very easy to use if I don't just want to tuck my shirt straight into my pants. Another hack that I recently showed was wearing your shirt backwards, okay? And it's not for everybody, but it is a solution because you don't have to hack it. It works really well with linen shirts, and linen shirts are everywhere lately. I think I have several of them. I've worn them so much this summer. They're just fantastic. Flipping them around, then you grab the bottom of the shirt, you kind of make a little type of like belt, kind of waist accentuation, and then you tie the shirt in the back. It's a really easy way to solve for the tucking problem and just kind of have a different look, have fun. It's not for everyone, but I do wear this often. This next tucking hack is amazing when you want to breathe new life into your existing shirt. And all you need is a scarf. A twilly works really well because it's a great way to just tie everything together without a lot of bulk. Or you can even use like a pretty cord or a ribbon. You just need a safety pin, and I'll show you here on the side exactly how I did it. All you need to do is just bring the safety pin here on the side so that you have a little bit of the metal sticking out on the other side. It works well if you have a matching color safety pin. I didn't, I just used a white one. And then you loop the scarf, in this case, the twilly. This one's by Amazon. It's so pretty. I've had it maybe for like 4 or 5 years. I love it. I wear it all the time. I also have an orange one. And you just loop it through here on the side, and then kind of right across the way, pick the button hole that is across from that, loop it through there. And then from here, you can just like really snatch your waist like this and tie it however you want, just however your personal style dictates. This is a very easy, just like interesting shirt that you can get that no one else is doing, no one else will have. So it's a great way to incorporate more color, shape, and texture into your outfit, which is the style magic sauce. Now let's move on to the most challenging, sweaters. I'm using one of my favorite sweaters of all time from last season, the Quince oversized cashmere sweater. It's a great one because it's a very typical sweater for fall winter. It doesn't have to be hard. One of the easiest ways to deal with a sweater like this, if you want to do something with it, which works really well if you have trousers like this that are a little bit looser versus skinny jeans or straight leg jeans, is you can simply do that asymmetrical tuck that we were talking about. You've already got a chicer silhouette versus just letting it go with this particular top and bottom. You can also do that French tuck that we've been talking about. This drapes really well, actually. It's very beautiful and just goes easily. I'm just tucking like just the very front of it right into that first button. Easy. Now let's cover again the back tuck that I claim I love, which is really easy again. Look at what it does. It shortens the sweater automatically. I just tuck the hemline underneath like this, like the little elastic knit, and it's a little bit shorter. And then on the back, we have this. Very easy. Now, if you're like, you know what? No, I don't want to do that. I still don't want to bother. It's too long. Then another absolute go-to of mine is the elastic belt. The elastic belt is your best friend, especially with slip skirts or any type of bottom that is really thin. Forget a chunky sweater where you want to tuck in a t-shirt or a blouse of any sort. It's gonna really serve you because you're tucking the top into the belt, not your bottoms. That is the trick. And some people will say like to tuck it into your bra and things like that. I think that that's like a last resort, like nothing worked out, you forgot, something happened, or you're on a trip and you don't have a belt or you don't have any hacks. Then sure, tucking it into your bra will work. It's not that comfortable and you kind of start to kind of mess with your top a little bit, and before you know it, you just don't look confident. So if you can't get your hands on an elastic belt, you can just use any elastic at home. I got a 4-pack by Amazon that comes in several colors. I've bought it once, I use them time and time again. Talk about return on investment. All you do is you simply belt it like this, and then you just drape it over all around like this. And that's it. It works like magic on everything. It's a one hack that works on almost any kind of top, and especially great for challenging sweaters. Now, another hack that you can use, and hate the game, not the playa, is with hair ties, which hair ties are always here for you when you need like an instant hack, as I showed you earlier with the t-shirts. You do have to loop these through your belt loops on the side. And then what you do is you secure it like this. I'll show you more detail on the side. And then you pull your sweater through, and then you tuck it in like this on both sides to create like that same kind of dynamic that the elastic belt does. So this same thing does the same as the elastic belt when you don't have it, okay? Just tuck it under, and there you go, easy. Now, some people are gonna say, what happens if I have to go to the bathroom? You just undo it. You do it again. It doesn't take a long time. Like, I hear that so much in the comments, like, oh, but like, what if I have to, like, okay, then just undo it. It doesn't, I'm doing it right in front of you. It takes seconds. So it's easy to do. It's just an idea, and it can really solve the problem for you if you're in a bind. Okay, wearing Mongolian cashmere on a almost 90-degree day was a bad idea, so I'm a little hot now. Let's go through the tucking cheat sheet. Blank slate, don't know where to start. If you have a thin top and a flat waistband or thick bottoms that are medium to high rise, then you're gonna do a full-fledged tuck. It's gonna work out. It's gonna be beautiful. You don't have to think twice. Just tuck it in, belt it, don't belt it. It's good to go. Think mid-length t-shirt like this one and jeans, easy, just tucked it in, didn't create any drama, nothing, it's good to go. Now let's see that you have a long drapey shirt. Then this is the perfect candidate for the side tuck, because you have a little bit of shape. You're not just leaving it untucked, doing something with it. Looks really cool. As we just covered the thick knit, you're gonna wanna do the elastic belt first and foremost, or keep it simple and just do the French tuck in the front or back. If you have a detailed waistband, you're gonna wanna stay away from tucking or do very minimal. Have a skin tight shirt that just is not maybe cropped, but just not super long either, because you don't wanna compete with the waistband. Big top, big bottom. That means that you're going to have to figure out a way to tuck or bring attention to your waistline in one of the ways that we just covered. Otherwise, you could run into the situation of just looking really frumpy, bulky, shapeless. So any of these techniques are some that you would want to use. Low rise bottom. So if you tuck in your shirt, you could run into the problem where you're gonna really lengthen your torso, which is key. Go ahead and do that if you have a short waist. But if you already have a long torso and you have low rise jeans and you're tucking your shirt, you're gonna just draw out that torso a little bit more. So just something to be aware of. Let me know which of these tops has historically been the most challenging for you. I would love to hear from you. And if you don't want to bother with tucking, make sure to head to the No Tuck Top video. I'll see you there. And if you learned something today, make sure to hit the subscribe button.